Hey, welcome back everyone. Happy New Year. It is now January 1st of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, and others out there, such as Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one major deal about Star Wars right now is that, yes, we do have a big transition happening before our very own eyes. We all witnessed what happened with The Mandalorian Season 2, of course, Chapter 16 it's also known for, with the entrance of Luke Skywalker in the mix, taking on those Dark Troopers, and really just setting the bar for Star Wars, really giving us a new beginning. You know, it was really a nice refresh for the universe to really look forward to in the next couple of years of what they have planned. Now, obviously, ever since 2012, when, of course, Kathleen Kennedy took over Lucasfilm, and a lot of problems really happened since then. You know, first off, a lot of fans were not happy that a lot of Star Wars legends were not going to make it into the Disney canon. That was one thing. But then we saw what happened with The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker and Solo: A Star Wars Story, and how that really led to a terrible box office situation. However, when we go ahead and examine what's going on with George Lucas behind the scenes, as well as Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy, you know, a lot of things are evolving when it comes to Star Wars as we speak, and, well, everything related to Kathleen Kennedy is at no surprise. Now, since Kathleen Kennedy took over Lucasfilm back in 2012, the fans have been very upset with her direction in Star Wars, until recently where Jon Favreau was able to turn things around for the Star Wars fandom. However, it's explained that behind the scenes, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy wants to cancel George Lucas's plan with Star Wars and the overall treatment of the new Star Wars universe that is also being helped by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Kennedy is described to be very unhappy with Lucas's direction of Star Wars and has been in the talks with Disney CEO Bob Chapek to demand to end this current direction of Star Wars in order to set things differently for the new universe. Now, Bob Chapek, however, refused to do that and is not falling for Kathleen Kennedy's demands to stop Lucas's direction with Star Wars and the new way they handle Luke Skywalker moving ahead. Kennedy is also said to be very jealous over the new version of Luke in Star Wars: The Mandalorian that is now making her focus on the Acolyte more so with Leslie Headland. Now, let's just pause right here for a second before we move on. Now, Kathleen Kennedy, obviously, she is working very hard on the Acolyte. A lot of fans are not necessarily looking forward to that for multiple reasons. We've gone over this before in the past. But everything related to Kathleen Kennedy's stance on George Lucas's treatment of this new universe. Now, given that Lucas is involved with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau and really kind of calling the shots on exactly how it should be leveled, right? How it should really be focused. And I think that obviously that's a main reason as to why, you know, The Mandalorian has been so successful, is because Kathleen Kennedy, believe it or not, had no creative input at all on The Mandalorian. Now, sure, she was involved on a business level, you know, as a producer, and given that she was president of Lucasfilm, of course, still, you know, when working on The Mandalorian, she didn't have any creative power per se by the time Season 2 was pretty much well into production earlier this year, or should I say last year, of 2020. So, another thing that I think a lot of fans need to know is that Bob Chapek, alright, the new Disney CEO, by the way, who's going to be on his own very soon, Bob Iger is getting ready to leave Disney entirely, you know, like literally just leaving Disney and that's it, leaving it all up to Bob Chapek to handle Marvel, Star Wars, and more. That's going to be a very tough job on his, you know, side there. That's going to take a lot of work. But the new universe, like I say, it's at no surprise that Kathleen Kennedy would want the George Lucas treatment completely canceled, because it's obvious at this point that Kathleen Kennedy has had a big grudge against him. For some reason, we're not quite sure. It just seems like that there's some kind of very interesting, unstable connection there between the two. You know, we have seen how she promised George Lucas to take care of his characters. We all witnessed it, right? In that 2013 interview, I believe it was. I believe that was the year. in that year, she said that she was going to respect the characters, respect the lore, and all that stuff, and then completely did a 180. It was the complete opposite. You know, we all saw what she did to Luke, we all saw what she did with the sequel trilogy, and the Legends characters being completely disregarded and not even really made into a major aspect. So that was one thing. The other thing was of how Kathleen Kennedy was really not all that connected to the Star Wars fans all that much. You know, as the president of Lucasfilm, you would think that she would be more connected to the fans, and we didn't really get to actually see that per se, like how George Lucas connected with the fans, you know, with the prequels, and how he also connected with the fans, of course, for the original trilogy. I feel that there was a bit more of a connection with Lucas and the fans than, obviously, you know, the fans and Kathleen Kennedy. There is no doubt about that. So, I mean, here we are. I mean, given that The Acolyte is being done by Kennedy and Leslie Headland, that is the one show that I think a lot of fans are really not looking forward to for a big reason. We've gone over this. It's going to have a lot of politics in it. It's going to have a lot of agendas thrown in there. It's not necessarily going to focus on story per se. They are really using that as a label to kind of use to promote their own agenda. That's what Leslie and Kathleen Kennedy really do have planned for The Acolyte. We've been talking about this Leslie Headland Star Wars TV show for a very long time now. Behind the scenes wise, it's been having a lot of trouble, believe it or not, because Kathleen Kennedy has been having a lot of creative differences with Leslie, at no surprise. Not a big surprise at all, really. I mean, is it? But like I've said, I think that obviously when we go ahead and check out what George Lucas, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are doing, they are doing incredible things, and it really is at no surprise that Kathleen Kennedy would want to actually cancel this, and actually went as far to talk with Bob Chapek to try to convince him to actually make those plans come to light, to get that, you know, new universe and that overall structure and vision canceled. Obviously, Chapek was not going to allow that to happen, and he completely turned that down, and rightfully so. So Bob Chapek knows what he's doing. He's got, you know, a good head on his shoulders. He knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's going to be a great CEO on his own. And he, at the end of the day, knows what the Star Wars fans want. Ever notice how, ever since he took over Disney, you know, we've seen this great turn for Star Wars. We have seen what happened, you know, with The Mandalorian Season 2. We've seen what happened with the overall structure at Lucasfilm, and how they're really delivering now. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.